Yeah, so it's like, you come out with like one bad design, right? And it's like the whole community just comes out all at once,
Like, out
just
of
to
the
tell you
woodwork
how
and
bad it
everything.
is. And the
It's
funniest
like,
part
who
of it
even
all
are
is
you?
it just shows me how fucking good I was doing the whole time.
Thanks.
Details in the description. Love you all. So right in the beginning, we use a square with one triangle. We'll use 2 double doors right away to provide us with more room to build in. You can of course start with wooden doors, but one of your first goals should be getting 2 metal doors here. Metal is so much stronger. For the TC, we can place it in its normal position facing a side wall. We can fit all of the early game items right into this starter base so that the finished product looks like this. The very first things you'll place are usually the sleeping bags and a small box. The furnace comes shortly after and allows you to build the rest of the stuff that uses metal. This setup gives you 11 rows of storage in addition to the TC, which can hold all of the building materials. There are 3 sleeping bags and a barbecue to cook up the early food. This base is currently only about 2 rockets to raid, so we have to add some security, first to the door path. For our first expansion, we can add these 2 foundations to the front door. We want a low triangle on the left and then a raised one on the right. A full wall goes over here and 2 half walls on top of the high foundation. Our new entrance goes on this side, and for this last wall, since we have to eventually remove it, it may be wise to upgrade it only to wood. The ceiling can be all stone for now. The next goal will be to add the roof bunker itself, and then expand our utility to look like this. So what I've done in here to make the video flow a bit better is I've picked up all of the stuff we placed. You'll also want to get rid of these doors. To add the bunker, the first step is adding this half wall facing this way. This is to seal in the high foundation. The actual roof piece goes here. This is already a working bunker. To open it, all you have to do is add this twig triangle roof here and you'll get the gap. If you don't have the garage door yet, you can wait on this part. Keep in mind, one of the differences between a double door and a garage door is that the latter allows you to pass through this gap. First, we'll work on our main room. The garage door can technically face either way, but facing it like this keeps the boxes behind the actual door. Until we expand our base a bit more, the workbench can go right next to the TC. With our first 2 large boxes, the first one goes all the way up against the back wall. Now when you go to place a second one, upgrading this frame to metal makes it so much easier. It can be done as stone, but look at this wiggle room. You can also put one extra small box right in the middle. Now with this roof being here, it actually leaves us with a bunch of room for some stuff. I spent a decent amount of time trying to figure out the best use of this space, and here's what I came up with. When you place this first box, you want it to kind of be inside of the roof and up against the wall. Kinda the same thing with this barbecue. You really want to have everything in here as close to each other as possible. For this box, you won't be able to get it to the wall, but make sure it's right up against the frame. After the final box, you can grab 3 sleeping bags. They go in the following orientation. It's pretty difficult to get all 3 in, and it will most likely take a few tries to get right. Same thing for me in the video. Once you find the right placements, double check that you can still open the bunker. With this area under the roof done, let's go ahead and add some stuff to this main room. We'll want to add a half-height floor to add some space. We can do this by coming outside from the front door and coming around this side for this build up here. This allows us to extend the triangle right through the middle of this room. After it's in, I usually come right back outside and break this. For now, we're going to add 2 large boxes and 1 small box on the shelf. As we progress further, we'll redo this room, but for now, this should be enough. You won't be able to get this box placed as good as the bottom, but it's fine as long as it doesn't stick out through the garage door. We want to place this small box all the way to the left so we can easily access the box in the back. So far, so good. Inside the bunker now, we have a total of 36 rows of storage, a level 1 workbench, a barbecue, and 3 sleeping bags for players. For our next expansion, we'll be building the 2nd floor entrance. We'll add another loot room, a furnace room, then a storage and utility room, and then we'll go ahead and redo our main loot room to have some additional storage. We'll also then get into the upgrade order. Let's first start with the structural additions. We need these 3 foundations from the front door. We can wall in this whole thing since we'll have a 2nd floor entrance above this door. For now, we can use a furnace to jump up and down. Next, on the side with this wooden wall, we'll want to add a square foundation with a triangle in this gap. We can wall in this square. Next, we need a series of jump ups that give us a quick and easy access to our 2nd floor entrance. We can do that by adding this section like so. As you can see, we can now easily get up here to this spot where our airlock will go. We'll use 2 single doors and wall in the rest. The actual doors should swing the same way as in the video. From up here we can add in the 2 roof tiles and then a double door out the back. Like I said, you could use the furnace to travel up and down, but the goal should be getting a triangle hatch into this spot for much easier movement. With the new front entrance secure, we can now come down here and over to this wooden wall and soft side it with tools until it breaks. We now have an extra room to work in, which is basically part of what we just built at the front. Before we fill in the empty rooms we just built, let's go ahead and do some upgrading. For upgrading, what I'll do is I'll first upgrade the parts you cannot reach from the inside of the base. Now it's really only these few pieces, but it's technically the safest, so why not? This half wall here is above the high foundation. We can reach the other ones from the inside. The last part out here is the triangle above the raised foundation. Now from the inside we'll upgrade room by room. We'll start right here with this raised foundation and half wall. This next triangle room, we upgrade the floor and the roof. Now working our way in, we'll start at the actual roof and we want to upgrade everything the bunker is in. Remember to upgrade the floor that's underneath the roof as well. The next room, we'll start at this floor, which can sometimes be tricky, and work our way up to the roof. Our main room here only needs 2 upgrades and then everything is pretty much upgraded to sheet metal. Of course we have much more honeycomb to add around this base, but that is the basic upgrading path to keep in mind. Now let's fill in everything we just built. The first room right outside this door here will be our small furnace room. There will be 3 furnaces in this configuration closed off by a glass window. The next room to work on will be here. We'll put a frame right on it and upgrade it to metal. We're going to use 2 vending machines on this wall to get maximum storage. We want to avoid placing them too close to this door frame or you won't be able to replace the door after a failed raid. Rotate them once before placing and this size gap is perfect. The second one should fit in nicely. You can put your level 2 here first, but we'll go right into the level 3 with the small box under it. There are 2 ways to do this next part. I like to place the large box first, right like this. You want it to not stick through the door, but you also need to leave a gap big enough to access this small box. You should be able to still place a repair bench with 2 boxes underneath it. You could also place all of this stuff first and then the large box after. It's up to you. One last addition is adding these 2 drop boxes for a bit of extra storage. Make sure they are not all the way at the top though, and you kind of want them to be as centered on the wall as you can get them. If they are too high up, you could potentially block stuff when we add more honeycomb here. And that room is pretty much done. A decent amount of utility in there. Our final room will go here and is my standard loot room design. We'll of course want a shelf in the middle and a garage door on the front. And that is that room done. So we've just added a bunch of cool stuff, but now we really need to secure around our base a bunch more. It kind of has like this weird shape going. Now we still have stuff to add on the entrance side, but first let's go ahead and add honeycomb around our main section and core. All this will be sheet metal, and I've placed all the foundations where the honeycomb will go. It's very important that when you get to this part here with the high foundation and half wall, that the half wall gets upgraded to HQM before you put the honeycomb on. Once the honeycomb is added, you will no longer be able to upgrade this piece. That finishes the horizontal honeycomb, and we'll do the top part next. First, let's upgrade this floor down here, and we want to add the final piece of honeycomb. No need to put 2 half walls down here, it works just the same with 1 full wall. The jump up should be the same too. The idea is we're going to put doors along this jump up, but first we want to add all of these half walls around the top of our core. This will stop raiders from being able to hit the roof sticking out through the top, and it's also straight up more walls above the core. Make sure everything here is sheet metal. If we take a look at this from the front, you can see where all the walls need to go. Once you have them all in the correct place, we can then cover the whole space up with sheet metal floors. Once we upgrade all of the inside of the core with the roof bunker to HQM, it will be 23 rockets to get into the bunker from all directions that are wall based. Remember to upgrade this wall and then we can come out the back door. We're going to have a full roof access point here, but for now we can lay out the basic pathing for it. Now we have much more security and 2 ways out of our base. With that side done, next we'll work on our entrance side where we have some upgrading and honeycomb to add. Once again, I've laid out the places where the honeycomb will go. We'll do the upgrading first since the honeycomb will cover most of the walls. Upgrade all of the following pieces. We can upgrade the tops after, but first you want to add all of this stone honeycomb the same as in the video. All the hard sides and soft sides should match. Now on top, we want to upgrade this triangle here and add a stone floor stack on top. What we're basically doing here is making it 12 plus rockets to get into any section on this side of the base. Next we can add in our pathing for the front entrance. We can use single doors throughout. we will need to add a small half-height section above here to match the heights up. I wouldn't use anything past sheet metal doors here since there would be better rate options if you did. Next, we can give ourselves some extra vision by adding a few frames like this for some shop fronts. Place the shop fronts in the same order as I do here to ensure they can all fit in. You can add some large boxes to the floor here to give you a bit of better vision of the ground. Before we add all of the extra stuff to the roof, let's walk through the base and do all of the final upgrades. All of these are very important to the raid cost of this base. Down here, I've removed all the boxes and barbecues that block upgrading these two parts to HQM. Now if you have a single armored door, I would put it here and then upgrade the frame to metal. This will do a decent job at kinda separating these two parts of the base, 4 rockets worth at least. Starting at the bunker and working in towards the TC, you'll want to upgrade basically everything to HQM. Bunkers are pretty much designed to be armored at some point since they are the strongest when they are. Remember this floor, since in a raid this may be the only thing that holds up the roof itself. This entire triangle room before the TC needs to also be HQM. Now for our main TC room. Since we already have a level 3 in the base, we're going to trade this level 1 for some extra storage space. Removing this also makes it possible to upgrade the whole room to HQM. For me, I'm just going to add a large box to the bottom here and then replace the small box on top. Now I did spend some time trying to figure out if I could fit more stuff into this space, but I struggled in finding a solution that didn't block the door. Now I don't want to block the door because if they do fail raid you, you'll always want to be able to replace stuff like doors and things like that. If you do know of a better way to use this space though, please let me know. Now our inside is fully upgraded and equipped. Next we can finish the roof. For the roof, let's start up here at this room where we can replace these with garage doors. This next part is optional, but we can place a triangle through the middle of this room if you want a bit of extra space. We do this by adding a twig buildup over here and bringing the triangle through. With this door path, we're going to bring it up and over the top here. So first we'll close off this triangle. Then we'll build a square room up here with the door facing the front of the base. Now this to me feels much better. Now where this metal is here, we want to quick upgrade the 2 triangles that are above it. Now we have our roof access finished. Next we'll want to build ourselves a small section up here to keep us a bit safer from the ground. There are a couple of extra ideas I had for up here, but it's up to you if you want to add them. Here you can build a triangle frame room that you could put doors on. You could potentially hook these up to a HBHF sensor that opens them when someone is door camping you. You can place a turret in here, and when the doors open, the turret should take care of them. Next, what I want to do is add some basic low walls around the 2 highest parts of the base. This will give us some cover if we have to fend off some players. With an open roof design like this, there are always overhangs that you could add to give yourself additional angles to defend from. There are so many extras up here, let me know what you come up with. But that is pretty much all I'm going to cover for this base design now. If you have anything to add, let me know in my Discord or in the comments below. See ya!